Hey everybody, it's John with Georgia Fencing Academy, and today our lesson focus is going to be on technical and tactical footwork. We have 10 footwork actions that we teach here: on guard, advance, retreat, lunge, check step forward, check step back, double check step forward, double check step back, the patinando, and the flesh. So with the help of Lyndsay, we're going to go over the technical aspects of each one of these, and hopefully by the end of the lesson, you'll have a better understanding of the importance of footwork and why you need to practice it regularly. 80% of your game is played from the waist down, so if you're not moving, you're getting hit. All right, so the first position is the on guard position, okay? Basically what's going to happen is that Lyndsay is going to face her opponent, dominant side facing the opponent. This would be the right hand in this case, with feet at a 90-degree angle. Now, what she's going to do is bring out the front foot so that the distance of the heels is a little greater than the shoulder, right? She'll bend her knees, right, so that the knees are almost covering the tips of the toes, a partial extension of the arm, and using the bell guard to protect the forearm. The back arm, a very classical on guard position, is to raise the arm up, and nobody really does that anymore. So basically, as long as the hand is away from the body, I have no problem with it. Now, one of the things that we teach over here at GFA is that we like to have a 60-40 lean instead of 50-50. A classical on guard position would be that we have a 50-50 positioning here, and what this does is it kind of compromises the lunge. It makes it more of a bound instead of an effective straight ahead parallel to the strip kind of action. So one of the things that we focus on here is getting closer to our target. So Lyndsay's going to lean forward ever so slightly, not compromising positioning of her arm, exposing the arm or anything, but here she's in a more ready combat stance and ready to attack her opponent. Next is the advance. Advance is a forward motion, advancing toward your opponent. And one of the things that we teach here that's a little bit different is, instead of a pulling advance, which is bringing up the front foot and then bringing up the back foot, we do more of a pushing advance here, which is lifting up the front foot and pushing off the back foot, right? And one of the things that this really kind of helps with is, I think that the footwork tends to be a little bit more fluid. Also, the feet are on the ground faster, right? Because in a pulling advance, Lyndsay brings out the front foot, and then she has to wait for the back foot to come up. And during that time, when she does the advance and bringing up the back foot, bam, her opponent can hit her in the foot, right, while waiting for this back foot to come up. Another thing I like about pushing advances is that what you were doing is you have the ability to make a change of decision rather quickly if we are in the moment. So we've got Lyndsay doing a pushing advance, right? But let's say that it needs to evolve into something else. She got new information. So this pushing advance could start off as an advance and then evolve into a flesh, or, well, actually a lunge. Ready? So let's start it off with the advance and then see it go into the lunge. Ready? Go. Right there. Okay? So like I said, I think that the footwork looks a little cleaner, right? And it is a little faster. Okay? Let's see it one more time. And go. Bam. Just like that. So let's see the advance one more time. Go ahead. Boom. Another push. Go. Right. So she's lifting up the front foot, pushing off the back foot. Ready? Go. And go. All right, the next footwork action is the retreat. It's also a pushing retreat. On the advance, we led with the back foot, lifting up the front foot. Now we're pushing off of the front foot and extending the back leg. So what this would look like here is Lyndsay would extend her back foot as if she's reaching out to grab the strip behind her and then pushing off with the front foot. So she's extending and then pushing off. Well, pushing off, extending the back leg. Ready? Pushing off and then bringing up the front foot. Ready? Push and retreat. So one of the things that we try to focus on also is extending the back leg so that you're trying to get back there and reach the back of the strip, right? So let's really extend that back leg. And go. And go. Right, trying to get out of the way as quickly as possible. One more time, go. All right, our next footwork action is going to be the lunge. Very important action. It's one of your vehicles of delivery when it comes to your attack. So it needs to be explosive, fast, right? So basically, when we are performing a lunge, what is going to happen is that we blast the arm out ahead of the body, simultaneously pushing off the back leg, kicking out the front leg, taking the back arm and throwing it back in order to avoid squaring off the shoulders. So now Lyndsay will arrive in this position. Go. Right. Notice the back leg is straight, the arm is out, so we're not squaring off here. Sometimes when we're not paying attention to the back arm, and the back shoulder seems to come forward. So here's what happens. We lose distance here. We've got here with the shoulder going back, she's hitting the target. Then she squares off. You know, we've got maybe about a good 2 inches that she's lost on distance, okay? The arm is fully extended, right? And the knee is on top of the heel, okay? So that she's using the quadricep to recover and not the knee, not recovering off the knee, which could lead to injury, all right? So now for the recovery, what's going to happen is she's going to utilize gravity to bring her torso back, right? And how is she going to do that? She's going to bend the back knee. Notice that the torso goes back, simultaneously pushing off the front leg back into the on guard position. The first thing out and the last thing back should be the arm. Now, I'm not saying extend the arm, lunge, recover, and then pull your arm back. But I am saying that you'll notice here, the arm is coming out first, go, and then recover. The arm comes back. It's a very tight interval there, okay? You want to make sure that when you're going to lunge, right, good balance, okay? Because your recovery is just as important. It's still part of the technical action, which is the flesh. If you compromise your balance on your recovery or in your lunge, you're going to get hit, okay? Something that helps with advancing, retreating, as well as keeping your balance here in the lunge is cinch up your abs. It cuts down on torso sway. It also focuses your weight down between your heels, right? So you're really focusing your center of gravity, all right? The next thing would be, let me get you back here to the line, Lyndsay. Okay? When you go to lunge, the sliding of the back foot, I think it's very important, right? Even rolling the back foot is acceptable as long as the back foot is flat when you recover. And the reason why we want to slide the back foot is because it basically lengthens her attack distance, her lunge distance. So if she needs to pull that extra distance out, she's not lunging and leaning down into the attack to make up the distance. She's making up the distance by propelling her body forward and pushing off on the back foot. Kind of like, that's the bullet, this is the gunpowder, okay? So here on just a normal flat lunge, right, we know, go ahead and lunge, there, but she can do better, she can go further. So how much further? Ready? And lunge. So each one of these slats are 4 inches wide And she has just now increased her lunge distance, 1, 2, 3, 4, about anywhere between 16 to 18 inches. So you don't have to slide all the time, but it's kind of nice to have that tool in your toolbox when you need it. All right, now our focus is going to be on tactical footwork. Footwork that is designed to deceive your opponent, to make them react badly or late. And the first action is going to be a check step forward, okay? Check step forward is meant to simulate on the part of the fencer, a retreat, drawing in your opponent into your critical distance, and then advancing, lunging, fleshing, or just extending to hit your opponent, okay? So on the check step forward, right, first thing is Lyndsay will do a half retreat, right? This draws the opponent in, they're walking into a critical distance, and now Lyndsay will do an advance, right? You can follow this with a flash or a lunge, to make up the distance. I don't think that your opponent is going to be or allow you to get that close to them so that you can hit them with an extension. So let's see it again. Okay, on the check step forward and go. Right, so again, half retreat, full advance. Half retreat, full advance. Ready? Check step forward, go. 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 And go. All right, now the next footwork action is check step back. This is meant to simulate maybe you advancing into your opponent's critical distance. They come forward to attack you, and then you step back, parry the blade, make the riposte, or you perform a counterattack, okay? So here, on check step back, what's going to happen is that Lyndsay is going to do a half advance. This is simulating getting into her opponent's critical distance, and then she'll do a full retreat, okay? Again, half advance and full retreat. So now, bowling all together, let's see check step back, go. 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 Cool. Now an exercise that I like to do here is whenever people are learning check step forward and check step back, it's rather awkward. It takes, a good deal of agility. So one way to practice this, doing it slowly, doing it as quickly as you can perfectly, so start slow, is just to continuously do the check forward and check back, maybe like for a minute, We won't do it for a minute here, but just see how the exercise plays out. Ready? And go. Good. So here it is, just concentrating on keeping the footwork small, right? And like I said, trying to perfect the action. The next action is going to be the category of double checks, right? Double check forward and double check back. Double check backs are a little bit more, or double check forward and double check back are a little more complicated, meant to distract and deceive. So let's look at double check forward. On the footwork action, where double checks are concerned, we start and finish with the same foot. So here, on double check forward, Lyndsay is going to do a half advance, a half retreat, and then a full advance. Okay? Again, half advance, half retreat, full advance. Ready? And double check forward. Right? Double check forward. Now you'll notice she's not leaning forward as she does the half advance or the half retreat, okay? And she's just moving everything from the waist down, just the feet. Also, the checks are not big, because if you do a big half advance and a big half retreat, you're basically in a lunge, and she's going to have trouble advancing out of this. Go ahead and see if you can do it. Right? Too big. All right? So remember, the footwork is subtle. Keep the footwork action small. Start and finish with the same foot. Now we'll look at the flesh, right? Flesh is the French word for arrow. It's one of my favorite footwork actions. Very important in épée. It's not allowed in sabre because you can't cross forward. In foil, they have right of way, so it isn't as common. In epee, which is a non-right of way weapon, you have to put your point on target as quickly as possible. And I will say this about epee too: if you don't flesh, you're not going to have a very successful career. Because it's a mainstay attack. It's, like I said, my favorite vehicle of delivery. So how do we flesh? Basically, we can see here that Lyndsay is ready to attack because this heel is up. And what does that, how does this contribute to the flesh? Basically, the emphasis is putting the pressure on the ball of the foot. So she is pushing off the ball of the foot, crossing over to hit the opponent before the back foot hits the ground. So this is going to take an incredible bounding action. It's like she's leaping through the air. This is where the action gets the name flesh, because you're an arrow. You are in the air for just a very limited, a few milliseconds, but you are bounding towards your opponent. Let's take a look at it, Lyndsay. She's going to start extending the arm, right? And then flesh. Boom. You'll notice, here, one more time. And flush. There the foot comes down, and then she runs off the side of the strip. Very important that you run away from the strip. Your opponent has one opportunity to hit you on the pass, okay? So you want to make sure that you hit them and don't give them an opportunity to hit you back. Let's see it one more time. Ready? And go. Boom, like that. So that was basic footwork, GFA basic footwork. The 10 footwork actions again being on guard, advance, retreat, lunge, check step forward, check step back, double check step forward, double check step back, patinando, and flesh. If it was a little fast paced, you have the ability to go back and review it and practice it, because this is the most important action, I believe, in fencing. It's your foundation, and the person who has great footwork or can control the tempo of the bout with footwork, they're the ones who are going to be successful. So keep practicing, and we'll see you with a new video soon.